I'm a big fan of homeschooling. It's the primary method of education that we've used for our own kids, and like most other homeschool families, I too have grave concerns with the public school system. But there's a major issue that I've seen among the homeschool crowd, and that's putting an emphasis on the form instead of the content. See, though homeschooling is a fine form of education, it's not a divinely prescribed method. What is commanded is that we give our kids a Christian education. Or in biblical terms, you're commanded to disciple them, as education is discipleship. So there's nothing more biblical about having your kids learn about God and His world in your home with you as your teacher, or learning those same things in a structure class with someone else as the teacher. As Christians, we have the liberty to choose the form of education that best works for our families. But what we don't have a choice is in the content. That means it's your responsibility that your kids learn a biblical worldview instead of a secular worldview. Children must be discipled and built up in the faith, and see that faith demonstrated through teachers that actually live it out, instead of being formed in a secular institution where their faith is undermined through the teacher's influence or through the content of the curriculum. Now, parents have the responsibility to ensure their children are raised in the instruction of the Lord. But that does not mean that they cannot make use of other teachers. I mean, a good manager of a company does not do everything themselves, but they delegate certain responsibilities out to faithful people that can do the job correctly. And by the way, I chose that manager analogy intentionally because wives are called managers of the household in 1 Timothy 5:14. Now, most homeschool families already recognize this, as they might sign their kids up for something like piano lessons because they realize they don't know how to teach piano, or somebody else could just do a better job. In the same way, it's perfectly acceptable for parents to use teachers to teach math or science, literature, Bible, or anything else that's in line with their goals. The most important verse parents should remember when choosing teachers is this: a disciple is not above his teacher, but everyone when he is fully trained will be like his teacher. See, people emulate their teachers. If their teacher has bad character, the student will likely adopt the bad character as well. One thing I see quite commonly on social media is parents posting videos of their little kids swearing and them just laughing at it. When I see those videos, I know it's the parents themselves that use that kind of language in the home, because the children are just emulating their parents. In the same way, a student being taught a secular worldview for hours each day will likely come out with a secular worldview. Now, are there exceptions? Well, of course, but the exception doesn't negate this general truth. People emulate their teachers. Therefore, it's important that if our kids are going to be taught a biblical worldview, they come from teachers who actually believe and live out these truths as well. So that means I don't believe that a non-Christian school is a good option for any child while they're still being formed. Now, when I said that homeschooling is not prescribed by the Bible, the number one objection to this is a passage from Deuteronomy 6. Here's what that says: "These words that I command you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise." Now, homeschool advocates often quote this passage and say that homeschooling is the only way that you can fulfill this, because in order to do it, your children need to be with you throughout the day. But that's taking this passage further than what was intended. The purpose of this text is to encourage the teaching of God's ways to your children throughout all of life. Teaching isn't meant to be limited to a particular part of the day or time, or when they sit at a desk or at the table, or even just in a Bible class. Teaching should be done in and through all of life. The point is not that your children have to be connected to your hip from morning to night. If that were so, then dads would need to take their children to work with them, and that would mean no out-of-town trips or travel without bringing your kids too. But that's just not the point of the text. The point is instead to look for opportunities to teach your kids throughout everyday life. When they're on the playground, when you're doing your chores, on car rides, in the grocery store, and during walks. So, in summary, the Bible does command that the ways of God must be taught to your children. And there is a warning that children will emulate their teachers. So that means that you must give attention to the content of the curriculum as well as who is teaching your kids. But the actual form of schooling is your Christian liberty. You can homeschool, be part of a co-op, do online education, or put them in a traditional Christian classroom. Give thought to what will serve your kids best so they can be well trained and prepared for life. If you'd like to explore this topic more fully, pick up the short book, Why Christian Kids Need a Christian Education by Douglas Wilson. It's short and it can be read in about an hour, and you can get it today on paperback, Kindle, or audiobook. The link is in the YouTube description. Hey, before you go, YouTube wants you to check out this video right here. They think it'd be a good fit for you. And if you want more content like this in your feed, you can subscribe right here. Thanks so much. If you wouldn't mind giving the video a like on your way out, I'd appreciate it.